Hi, I'm Marty Levinson, and welcome to the Northtown News.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that lemon light city, Sweet Hope, Chicago. 224 446. Come on, baby, now get your business fixed. Come on.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine show with the greatest cameraman around, Sonny Hirsch, and your host, Avi Myers.
Thank you, Marty. Avi Myers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web at www.ntnm.org. You can watch all our videos there over the last 5-6 years. Hundreds of thousands of you have watched these videos, and thank you so much. We do appreciate it. We want to give credit to the 24th District of the Chicago Police Department for, with very limited resources, doing their best to keep community policing alive and going. You know, even though you might read headlines in the paper about how, you know, like you're not going to read as much about CAPS and how they're undermanned, which is true, and there's not as many people. I mean, half the time the commander shows up at the meeting and he's taking notes. You know, you've got sergeants and officers that actually patrol the streets. And in the 24th District, which is basically Rogers Park, West Rogers Park, and a little bit of Edgewater, they're asking you to take pictures, graffiti, gang signs, unusual things you might see, and email it to them or bring it to the meetings. And the commander will identify it for you personally, you know, and tell you whether it's a gang sign or whether it's some kid that thinks he's a street artist or what the deal is. So, you know, if you've got a problem in your neighborhood and the weather's warming up, this is the time to go to your CAPS meeting. I mean, basically, they are at no charge. They are in our neck of the woods. They are the second Thursdays of the month from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and they vary in location from Warren Park to the library to, forget where else we are. Oh, Zam's Hope even at times. So 7, 8 o'clock, and that's from the area of Peterson to Pratt and Kedzie to Devon. In the meantime, we are honored to have one of our favorite guests of all time and one of the most viewed people over the course of time. I want to give a special thanks to Dave Drucker and to my neighbor Beth for getting him over here. And it is a pleasure to introduce you to about the only politician whose name's going to get cheered if they announce him at a ball game, the Secretary of State of Illinois, Jesse White. How you doing?
It'll be nice to see you again.
First of all, my pleasure. And they're not cheering you just when you were a shortstop in the minor league system of the Cubs, but they're cheering you because they actually like you.
Thank you.
So thank you. So you know what? You're kind of famous as the innovative, creative guy, and you've always got bright new ideas and sharp ideas going on. You got anything new for us this time around?
Well, first of all, I've been involved with promoting the organ and tissue donor program statewide. We went to a community college called Richland. It's in Decatur, Illinois, and we challenged the faculty and the students to sign up at least 100 individuals for the organ and tissue donor program. And as it turned out, they exceeded those numbers by 33. So 133 people signed up to become a part of this meaningful program. So I went down to Southwestern Community College, that's in Belleville, Illinois, and the president of the organization, president of the community college, her name is Georgia Costello. She is the wife of Congressman Costello. And so while I was at the podium talking about the importance of people signing up to become a part of this program, they whispered in my ear that they had signed up 100 individuals. Well, by the time the day was over, 150 individuals had been signed up to become a part of this program.
Well, it's pretty impressive. You know, you're bringing back names I haven't heard in a long time. I went to Mayfair Junior College before it became Truman. I was a sports editor of the paper. And the year I covered the National Junior College regional baseball thing, Belleville actually, I can't think of his name, he never made it past A-ball. They had the 8th pick in the amateur draft, and he got a $40,000 bonus, which today would have been like $5 million.
No doubt about it.
And he couldn't make it past A-ball, though.
And so one of the things that we've done here in Illinois is that we have 5.6 million people who have signed to become organ donors. However, there are 5,000 people on the waiting list as we speak, and each year about 300 people died because organs have not arrived in a timely manner. We ask that when you're alive and well, give blood. When you're no longer here, give organs. And when you've done those two things, you made a positive impact upon society, considering the fact that one person can provide life or improve the quality of life for 25 individuals.
That's quite a bit. I know that you know you've got a family interest. I remember you told me the origin of your interest in the donor program in the first place.
Oh yeah, my sister Doris wasn't feeling well and was in dire need of a kidney. That was not a match within the family, and through the generosity of someone else, she got a second chance in life. She put her name on the organ tissue donor list. This was long before I became the Secretary of State, and so she's alive and well thanks to someone else.
Well, thank God.
And then the other thing that I'm proud of, and that is there has been a movement afoot to try to change the driving age from 16 to 18. And so I conducted some hearings across the state of Illinois. And as it turned out, we came up with a program called the Graduated Driver's License Program, where we require parents to spend 50 hours behind the wheel with their child. And of those 50 hours, 10 of those hours would be done at night. And then, of course, it would cover a 9-month period of time. And one of the first facets of the bill was that nighttime driving creates a problem for our young drivers. You can only drive up to 11 o'clock at night during the week, and probably on weekends, and then 10 o'clock during the week. And then you can only have one unrelated person in the automobile with you for the first 1 year period of time. And then we also found that sometimes they get a ticket, and they would have, they go to court and represent themselves. Now they have to bring their parents. And then we have on our website, www.sabadriveillinois.com, a contract between the child and the parents.
Wow.
They fix their signature to it, so when there's an infraction, parents won't have a problem getting the keys back from the child because they'll waive the contract before them and say, your name is affixed to this contract, this is an agreement between the two of us. If you get a ticket, you've agreed to relinquish the keys without further discussion or without reservations for the next 3 weeks. And then we also put on our website the ability for parents to get a PIN number so they can go into our system and find out how well the child is driving or how poorly the child is driving. And so it's called Gotcha. And so these are some of the, and then as a result of everything that I just said, we have received a 50% reduction in the loss of lives at the hands of our teen drivers.
Wow. Wow.
So it's working.
Yeah.
And the roads are safer.
One thing I'm curious about, I mean, the first thing where the parent has to drive with the child 50 hours, I think it was.
Yes.
You know, I'm remembering when I learned how to drive, my father didn't like the idea of teaching me. You know, probably because I was a teenage punk at the time. That, you know, he basically got me a driving teacher. And that was before they had driver's ed in the school. You know, I took the lessons, all the rest of it. I passed the driving test, and he wouldn't let me drive for a year. And maybe take a set of tests over again. And figured at that point, maybe I was responsible.
Well, our roads are safer because of his instructions to you.
No, it definitely helps. There's no question about it. You know what? There was something really interesting in the paper, you know, concerning, you know, there's been some very interesting political developments, you know, in your area, period. And of course, you're always behind some of them, not all of them. You know, you're not the only person in the area, but obviously you're very popular and you're a ward committeeman. And anyway, we've had two guests on the show that, you know, that you back, very different people. One who I like very much is Dr. Patricia Van Pelt-Watkins, who I thought really was a blue ribbon winner and replaced really a bad state senator, to put it mildly.
Yes.
And, you know, that was very needed. And another one who basically wasn't really elected but was appointed to fill a vacancy that we actually had on the show, who did a very nice Hi, I'm Marty Levinson that we do feature sometimes still, was, of course, the now a little bit infamous Derek Smith. And even though we mentioned this before, I want to let people know that we got an email from Chuck Audi asking permission to use our footage of the interview with Derek Smith on the Channel 7 News, because apparently that's what the FBI used to match the voice to the audio recordings of him taking a bribe. Now, generally speaking, you're usually famous for really good personnel decisions. Okay, and you know what? The people I've worked with, whether it's Dave Drucker or whether it's Beth or whether it's Michelle, you know, everybody I've dealt with, they're really good people. I mean, you know, even when I go to my neighbor went to the driver's facility on Elston Avenue, which basically was a place where basically you'd want to bring some shaving equipment because, you know, you need to shave before they finally got you in line, who told me that they were actually in and out of there within about a half an hour. And I don't know how you accomplished that, but you accomplished that. So usually you make good choices. So I don't know if this is like the NFL draft, where sometimes you get lucky on your first round pick, sometimes you don't. But you know what? Like Derek Smith didn't do a really good job. Then everybody goes and says, like, go vote for the guy so we can replace him. And now he doesn't want to step down. So basically, you're starting a third party.
Yes, I am. But let me start from the beginning.
Sure.
I've known Derek Smith for a long period of time. And Derek was a part of my organization. I'm the ward committeeman of the 27th Ward. And as it turned out, Ricky Hendon, our senator, decided he was going to step down. So there are 9 ward committeemen that make up the district. And so we decided that we would promote Annazette Collins from state representative to state senator. And then we decided that we would promote Derek Smith from employee in the Secretary of State's office to state representative. We thought he had the right stuff. He's a college graduate, graduated from DePaul University in the field of business. And we just thought that he had the right stuff to represent the people of the 10th district in a manner in which all of us could be proud. And as it turned out, he did something that was improper. He was accused of taking a bribe. And now he's ineffective. And we thought that he would eventually step down. But his lawyers encouraged him to continue on. What we decided to do, that since he would not step down from the job of state representative, or take his name off the ballot. If he takes his name off the ballot, then we can appoint someone to replace him. So since his name is still on the ballot and he's still in office, we have to form a third party. And it's the 10th District Unity Party, consisting of 9 ward committeemen, which means 9 wards, will be meeting starting next week, deciding on who the person is who will replace, who will be our candidate to vie against, to run against Derek Smith.
Now, okay, by the way, just so people know, by the time this airs, you guys will have already picked a candidate.
Yes.
So listen, I wish you good luck, and I know you personally aren't interested in picking anybody other than top-notch talent, because there's a lot of top-notch talent that's come out through you over the years.
Well, that's why we have a questionnaire that they must fill out. It speaks to how long you lived in the district, where you work, what kind of money, how much money you make, your background check. The list goes on and on. There are probably somewhere, I would say, about 100 questions that you must answer. Because before it was like a shake hand deal where we would appoint someone. No, we want the best and the brightest, the sharpest knife in the drawer now.
Yeah, you can't afford to make 2 mistakes in a row. I mean, you got yourself a great state senator, so at least you'll be adding 50%, which is better than the beer sometimes.
Well, but let's go back to Annazette Collins. Now, she was the lady who we promoted. As it turned out, we found out that she didn't live in the district. Lived 6 miles outside the district, had given out scholarships to people outside of her district and into the suburbs, and had promoted the teaching in high school students how to handle a gun.
Wow.
And give them gun training so that so many innocent people are being shot. So she wanted to make sure that when they shoot, they hit their target, which was kind of like out of left field. It wasn't a good thought process.
Well, it's more like out of the park and onto Waveland Avenue, or was it Sheffield? I forget which is left.
And then she was asked, do you support conceal and carry? So she says, well, I haven't made up my mind yet, but yet last section of General Assembly, she voted for it. So there were a lot of reasons as to why we opposed her. I was on the side of Patricia Van Pelt Watkins. We visited probably about 52 churches over a period of about 5 weeks, getting the message out that Patricia Van Pelt Watkins was the blue ribbon candidate, that this was the person that we wanted to represent the 5th senatorial district.
She's a very impressive individual. There's no question about it.
So I made a mistake with Annazette, and so we corrected it. We made a mistake with Derek Smith. I should say we. I might say we. I'm talking about all 9 committeemen, and now we want to put someone in place who will not only take on a job, but will take on the responsibility that goes with them. Will be a good representative of the people of the 10th district.
Well, good luck, and I hope. Listen, I hope you guys, after all the stuff that went out, I hope you get a real blue ribbon candidate this time around.
I think we're going to get one.
Glad to hear you got people in mind.
No one. We told the committeemen that they should not come in with their mind fixed on a particular candidate. We want the one that we think will be the best representative of the people. And so as a committeeman, yes, sometimes you have your favorite, you want someone from your ward. I don't have anyone that I'm looking at for my ward. I just want to listen to all of the testimony. I want to look at the questionnaires. I want to listen to the answers to the various questions, and then I'm going to make my mind as to who I think will be the best representative of the people.
Sounds good.
And then what's good about this is that this is a solidarity coalition, meaning these are a bunch of people who are committed to deciding on one candidate, and we are going to put forth a genuine effort to make sure that we work for the betterment of this unity party, so we come up with support this one candidate.
That would be good. Can I ask who the other 8 committeemen are?
Well, you have Jason Irving from the 29th. You have Alderman Marino, Alderman.
It reaches all the way there far north?
Alderman Maldonado,
Yeah.
Alderman Smith, Bob Fioretti of the 2nd District, yours truly, and that's a few more. I just can't. Wagner Spot, Alderman Wagner Spot, and maybe 1 or 2 more.
Yeah. Have you had to deal too much with the mayor at all?
I admire and respect him. I've had some wonderful relationships with him.
Interesting.
He's a good man.
I was curious about your take on him.
Oh yeah, matter of fact, I was the first elected official to support him. When he ran for the mayoral race, and I took a little heat for it, but I'm a former military man. I can stand tall in the kitchen.
Well, one thing I will say for him, he couldn't serve he was devoted enough to Israel in 1991, I think it was, that during the Gulf War he actually wanted to go to Israel where his father is from. And he volunteered in the motor pool to fix cars because he wasn't allowed to do any military stuff at that point in time. There's no question that he's a very serious person about what he's doing. He's
making a lot of corrections. We've made a few blunders along the path in terms of the previous administration, and now I think that he is involved with making a few corrections.
Yeah, well,
and the other thing,
go ahead.
And the other thing too, and that is, I'm going to Israel with the Tumblers in September.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah, this thought should let you know that.
How are the Tumblers? You know what? We almost don't talk about we used to talk about the Tumblers all the time at the beginning. That's how I first met you. How are the Tumblers doing these days?
We're doing quite well. Matter of fact, several things are happening. We're building a building called the Jesse White Community Center. It's at 412 West Chicago Avenue. It's a $15 million complex. It's a state-of-the-art facility, a state-of-the-art gymnastic facility, gymnasium, game room, weight room, a human performance lab. It's the place where kids can come to become better educated, better informed, and use the idle time in a positive way. It's a win-win kind of a situation, a community situation for all of us. And then right now we have 305 young people make up the Jesse White Tumbling team. We'll do about 1,500 shows this year.
Wow.
With those 7 units, we'll turn down about 300 requests. We cannot put them into our schedule. And we traveled to Zagreb, Croatia, China, Tokyo, Japan on 3 occasions for Nippon Television, Hong Kong, Honolulu, Hawaii, Honokai, Hawaii, 17 times to Canada, twice to Bermuda, once to the Cayman Islands, 4 plays, 4 movies, and 25 commercials.
Wow.
So we're trying to save kids. And out of our 305 young people, we have about 20 complete families. And then we have 225 young people in training, and we have about 20 complete families. So this is a juvenile delinquency prevention program designed to help young people to go tall and straight.
How many different troops do you have going at one time?
I have seven teams.
Wow.
On the 4th of July, we have those 7 units out, and each unit will do 3 parades and 3 shows.
So that's 6 performances that day?
For each unit, yes.
Yeah. I mean, do they eat the next day from all the tumbling?
Well, they'll eat 3 meals that day.
I mean, that was I could do basic tumbling in high school. I wasn't very athletic. I could hit a baseball. I had a good arm, but I got the speed and hops of black of cement. So
I was a gymnast as a kid. I was a gymnastic teacher in college, and then I was a teacher for the Board of Education Park District, YMCA, And I signed a contract out of college to play baseball for the Cubs. 4 days before going to spring training, I was drafted into the military. So instead of going to spring training, I ended up going to basic training.
Wow.
And while I was in basic training, I decided I wanted to learn how to jump out of airplanes. So I went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, went through jump school, served my 2 years, came back to Chicago, put my uniform in the closet, got my ball bat and glove, flew off to Mesa, Arizona, and with the Cubs.
Yeah, I think they still train. They used to train there.
They still train in Mesa, and so after the first season, and I played for 8 years, I would teach school during the day, work for the Park District at night, was asked to put on the gym show, and that was the beginning of the Jesse White tumbling team, 52.5 years ago.
Wow.
So I believe that when you get it, you give it back. I mean, I learned from Abraham Lincoln Maravich, Justice Abraham Lincoln Maravich, and that is, you must do something good for someone every day.
Actually, I like that saying very much, and that's I wish there were more people who did things like that.
Well, I can't sleep at night unless I've done that.
I think that's terrific. I mean, I know too many people that feel they can't get through the day unless they do something to you. So, but no, I think that's very admirable, and the world would definitely be a better place if more people were doing things like that. And you know what? It's interesting because every time I don't ask you that question you come here about once a year on average. Oh, and by the way, I see the neighbors get all excited sometimes. I was showing, it was later in the year last year, I was showing the vegetable garden to the Secretary of State, and there's a group home next door.
Yes.
And, you know, so he introduces, oh, actually this was 2 years ago because it was an election year. So you introduced yourself to them. This is, you know, ladies, I'm Jesse White. And they go, I know. She was so excited. I mean, it was terrific.
Nice lady, nice lady. Something else that we're doing, and that is, you know, every 4 years, you renew your license.
Yeah.
And we would put a sticker on the back of your license. And we found out that when you would go to the airport, or you would go to a car rental place to rent an automobile, they'd see where your license has expired. You said, well, on the back we have a sticker. And sometimes the sticker's scuffed up, sometimes the sticker isn't recognizable.
Yeah, I had one myself for a while.
So we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's time for you to get a renewal. We will send you out a new license.
Yeah, so you actually keep the picture on file digitally or whatever it is?
That's right. Matter of fact,
oh, I'm in trouble. The guy asked me if I wanted to try it again. It was such a bad picture.
No, we'll keep that one. At least for 8 years.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't. So okay, because I haven't had a ticket or a move. It's not that I never had tickets. I've never been convicted of a ticket. There's a big difference between never getting a ticket. But that was in the old days. Now, if you get a ticket, it's going to cost you a lot of money no matter what.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I run the largest Secretary of State office in the nation.
I didn't know that.
I have 4,000 employees, a $396 million budget, 138 offices and 23 agencies.
Wow.
I'm the head librarian for the state of Illinois with 5,000 libraries that come under my jurisdiction.
I didn't know that.
And we distribute about $77 million a year in support of the libraries. In charge of the literacy program, where we distribute $6.6 million a year to 215 agencies, and their mission is to help individuals to obtain their GED, to learn English as a second language, and to become better educated and better informed. Corporate filings and securities, to keep it sealed, quota claims, license plate stickers, state IDs, chief archivist for the state of Illinois. The list goes on and on.
Wow. I had no idea about the libraries. That's 4,000 employees. That's quite a load. Well,
when you have 138 facilities scattered across the state of Illinois, and I visited all of them from 13 times up to 30 times.
Wow. So you've definitely been around the state. Now, you actually made an early, you told people early that you're actually running for re-election.
2014, I'm going to run for re-election. I was a lawmaker for 16 years, and I represent the most diverse district in the nation: Lincoln Park, DePaul, River North, Streeterville, the Gold Coast area, the Magnificent Mile, Streeterville, River North,
Cabrini Green, yeah.
Yes. And then, I became the Cook County Recorder of Deeds, and I served for 6 years in that capacity and 13 years in this office.
Wow.
And so I'm running for re-election. I think the people realize the fact that we have been involved with community service or better yet, public service, where when they come into the Secretary of State's office, they no longer have to bring their duffel bag, sleeping bag, or their lunch bag. They're in and out, and then they're treated in a highly respectful manner. In the past, I think that they used to plan their day around going to the DMV, and then they would always be prepared to be talked down to once they arrive there. And
right. Well,
that does not happen anymore. And if it does happen, I want to know about it because I don't take kindly to that kind of conduct.
Matter of fact, my neighbor told me when he had to renew his license, it was like actually about 28 minutes he was in there, which is impressive. Because I remember the day when I'd go to Elston Avenue, I would actually drive all the way out into the far north suburbs, because it would take me quicker to drive there than it would to go to Elston Avenue, where I had to get into a line to wait for the line to be in the line.
Yeah, we have a concierge in all of our facilities. The concierge will ask you the nature of your business and then look at your documentation to make sure you have proper documents before he will allow you to advance to the counter. In this way, you know early on whether you have all that is required to get your license, your state ID, or your license plates. The list goes on and on. And by the way, I forgot to tell you, we have 5 kinds of license plates that are out: the Bears, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks. And those license plates are called the sports license plates. So if you like a team like the Cubs and you want to show team pride, love for the team, respect for the team, appreciation for the team, you'll buy one of those plates. $25 from the sale of the license plate will go to the Common School Fund. So
Nice.
kids across the state of Illinois attending public school will benefit from the sale of those license plates.
Oh, it's very nice.
And the Blackhawks lead 2-1.
Oh, I was curious
Oh, yeah.
about that. This has not been a good year playoff-wise for the. I thought the Bears were going somewhere. I thought the Bulls were going somewhere. The Hawks too a little bit, but oh well, next year. I wanted to ask you too. You know what? I was going to bring this up earlier. There's all different kinds of driver's license now too, and people don't realize that the shapes are meaningful.
Right. Now let me share this with you. If you see a driver's license that's vertical,
Yeah.
it means that you're under the age of 21.
Ah.
Once you reach the age of 21, then it becomes horizontal. The reason for that is you don't have to worry anymore about doctoring up the license.
Yeah.
You know. So now what you do is just show the shape, and the shape will let you know that you cannot buy alcohol, cannot buy tobacco, go into a club, go into a bar, or go into places where persons of 21 who are 21 years of age would go.
That's really clever. It's really clever.
And then the other thing that we're doing right now is we're cracking down on individuals who misuse the disability placards program. If you're disabled, permanently disabled, it's a blue placard. Red, you're temporarily disabled, and the green placard means you are a transporter of people who are disabled. And we punch holes into the material that law enforcement know the age of the person and the sex of the person.
Wow.
And so people are now using someone else's placard because they don't want to pay the meter, or they don't want to pay the high rate in the parking lot. So if you get caught the first time, it's $500 fine,
Wow.
and you lose your license for 6 months. That's,
Wow.
Right now it's 1 month, but it'll be 6 months starting next year.
That's pretty serious stuff. At this point, we're running out of time.
Well, glad to be with you.
Well, first of all, thank you. I always appreciate your being here. I want to thank Beth very much, my neighbor around the corner, for taking the long trek to make sure he was here today. I kind of saw you waiting outside, waiting for him. I always got to thank Dave Drucker, who I've known for a real long time, who's one of the really classy PR guys going. And, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't thank my entire technical crew, Sonny Hirsch. And once again, Jesse White, it's always a pleasure to have you. And I think if you were later in the afternoon, I would have had a whole crowd here, because I always when you come, it's like, please tell us when he's going to come. No one else says that. You know, like, they don't say that for anybody else. They only say it for you. But thank you so much. Good luck on the job. And, you know, I look forward to voting for you early and often in a couple of years.
And I want to thank the people of the state of Illinois for allowing me to serve.
And first of all, in your case, they thank you, unlike many others.
Thank you.
I shouldn't say it. Thank you, everybody. Be well. Bye-bye.